that essential joy, that what we say as joy, that essence of that joy, it is a joy of ourself, of joy of our true self. And this is nitya, meaning this is permanent. This is there all the time. And this is how, we qualify this true identity of ourselves. So how do we get to this? So let me just conclude with this final portion of understanding how do we get to this true essence of our being, which is called as Satchit Ananda. And for this, the most important thing is to look for the source of this I, this ego, which we say is in Vijnanamaya Kosha, which arises in Vijnanamaya Kosha. But the ego is not just there, because when I'm experiencing myself as the body, I know I'm different from other bodies. So at the level of Annamaya, the physical sheath also, the ego is there. And at the level of prana, my energy, my body's energy, breath, I know is different. If I'm not able to breathe, I know that I don't care about how others are, right? So this is sometimes in the plane also, they say, right? First, make sure you put on the mask in case of emergency. Why? Because you have to be able to breathe, right? So that pranamaya, that identity of ego is there at the level of prana also. My breath is so important for me. And then at the same thing with the mind, my thoughts also, So, a lot of times people fight based on their thoughts, right? The opinions they have, the notions they have. And they seek after what they like. They run away from what they don't like. So all this is our identification at the level of Manomaya Kosha, And then the final state is this Vijnanamaya, the sense of doership, the sense of one who has that free will, which is the core essence of our identity, that I can do something. I am the one who can achieve something. And this is why, even though many of them are in the path of devotion sometimes, the sense of surrender is so difficult because we are completely identified with I as a doer. So even if we are told that surrendering to God, Guru, and all that is what is the highest thing, it is hard because the sense of I being the doer has to be negated. Until we negate this, we can't even surrender, So all spiritual paths come down to this basic essence. So, but again, when we look into this, is it real? Is this I really there? The sense of doership also dissolves when we go to sleep, for example. There, I don't have that sense of I. And I enjoy the joy of the sleep. But now when we ask someone, like when you come back out of sleep, when you come into waking state, So this we have to see in our experience again. And this is why whatever Mananam we do, it has to be experiential. Either we have to follow up at this moment or we have to follow up in our daily life experience, So who was there to know that you went away and came back? So you may say that somebody else saw me sleep and you come back. But if nobody is there also, you come back and this core sense of I, you reclaim that, right? Meaning you don't say that I'm now this different person after I went to sleep. You say that I'm the same person who went to sleep and who's now woken up, So there is a continuity of that identity. So there was this one who went to sleep last night is the same person who woke up this morning, right? So there is what we call a substratum of continuity, and this is not based on the mind or even the intellect. So this core essence of this intellect, this ego, or rather we can say for a transactional purpose, I can use this ego. But if I really take this identity of waker, who I am, as myself, then there is a lot of suffering I have to go through. Why? Because anything that happens to the body, anything that happens to the prana, anything that happens to the mind, I'm affected. So this sense of ego, for transactional, now we can say, okay, I am the Swami, the teacher, and you are the seeker, the sadhak student. Or, later when you go back, you are in your home, you can say you are the father, the husband, or you are the manager, and if your body is hurt, you can identify yourself as a patient or something, in the hospital. But where exactly did this start from? So this ego is not something which is there all the time. It is not nitya, it is not eternal. And we can see it in our experience. At one moment, I identify myself as a Swami. Another moment, I might identify myself as, just a human. And if I'm at the playing thing, I may say I'm one Indian or whatever passport I hold, right? So this comes and goes. This kind of ego is not real, but yet we take it to be real. And this is the main problem. The main problem is I have mistaken my identity, and every moment I keep mistaking my main identity. For transactional purpose, it is okay. But if I really think that is who I am, then there is the problem, So this is the main thing when we do self-inquiry, is to look for the source of where this ego arises from, this vague notion of I, that I have. So this is where when we come to the source of this inquiry, when we really start looking at this, what all the teachers and saints have told us is, we really look into this I, then the sense of I will eventually drop. Why? Because this was never real. This was never there. There was really no ego. It was just like a reflection in a mirror. How much reality is there to that reflection in the mirror? Only as much as when somebody is standing in front of it. But it's not eternal. It is not there all the time, It appears to be there when that entity comes in front of that mirror. And that also is just an appearance. That also is not a reality. So the ego is also like that. And this we have to see in our experience, because I feel I'm real. I feel I'm the one. I'm this, I'm that, And from there also is this thing of parichinatva, meaning this limited, finite entity I get. But the source of this consciousness is not finite. It is infinite. And this is the pointer. This is the truth that we are being led to, And this is how, when we differentiate ourselves from all these Pancha Koshas, we come to this statement that Shankaracharya ji makes, in the Brahmagnana Valimala, where he says, Asangoham, 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 Punaha, meaning in all these sheets, in all these identifications, I'm actually, I am different from it, meaning that is not the real who I am, Then who am I, Then he says, Sachidananda Rupoham, Ahamevaham Avyayaha. That is that Sachidananda Rupa is who I am, that one undivided entity, that one infinite, irreducible consciousness. Okay, so this is something that we all can practice, and possible we should reflect on it. And this is also how we should actually do our Mananam. Our Mananam is based on constantly holding on to this thought. Then what happens? All the restlessness which comes in the mind, it itself, we usually use yogic practices and meditation and all that in order to quieten the mind and gain the state of joy or peace. But when we do proper mananam, then what happens is we are leading our thoughts in the line of truth, and all those negative thoughts, that vikshepa, that misapprehensions, that will automatically drop. And so this is much more profound way to reach that state of stillness, that state of true essence of who we are. And